I discovered my wife's family was plotting a fake abuse case against me. They called it Operation Freedom. Hi, I'm Kai, 35. And 2 weeks ago, I discovered that my wife and her entire family were running a covert operation behind my back, literally titled Operation Freedom. Their goal? Get her out. Their method? Fraud, lies, and a clean sweep of my life savings. It started with a ping. Her iPad lit up on the kitchen counter while she was in the shower. I glanced over. Normally, I wouldn't have thought twice, but something about the notification caught my eye. It said, Operation Freedom getting her out. That was the name of the group chat. I wish I could tell you I ignored it, respected her privacy, trusted her. But I didn't. My gut clenched and the bottom dropped out of my stomach. I picked it up. The passcode? Our anniversary. Of course. Face ID didn't work, mine never had. But she'd never changed the passcode. We'd been married 6 years. I had no reason not to trust her. Until now. I opened the chat. It was her mom. Her sister. Her aunt. Her best friend. For people actively plotting something. Not vaguely concerned whispers. Not casual. Is she happy? Worry. No. This was a full-blown military-style divorce op. Phase 1. Document everything. Photos of the house, car titles, bank statements. Anything with his signature. We need proof of what she's entitled to. Third drawer in his office has the financials. Her sister wrote. Got pics last week while he was at work. Then the aunt chimed in. Phase 2 is the attorney consult. I know someone discreet. No paper trail to the house. And the best friend? What about Phase 3? Counseling first? Her mother. No. Counseling gives him time to hide assets. We go straight to filing. She moves out. Files immediately. Claims she felt unsafe. That one hit like a freight train. Unsafe? We have no kids. No history of domestic anything. She has her own career. Her own money. Her own friends. We split the bills proportionally. She makes $65,000. I make $120,000. I even paid off her $15,000 student loans last year. As a gift. Because she hated the monthly payments. And yet here they were, building a case out of lies. A false narrative of control and financial abuse. The last message was from 2 hours ago. Attorney consult is Tuesday. Don't tell him you're going anywhere. Act normal. We're almost there, baby girl. I set the iPad back down exactly where I found it. Then I walked into my home office, shut the door, and started planning my own operation. And unlike theirs, mine was already late. The first thing I did was sit in silence for almost an hour. It wasn't rage. Not yet. It was something colder. The feeling of watching a future disintegrate in real time. You don't go from, I love you, to, how do I weaponize a narrative? Overnight. This was planned. Calculated. I'd been living beside a stranger. Sleeping next to a woman building a case against me like a prosecutor. I called a lawyer that afternoon. Not a friend of a friend. Not some budget directory special. A serious, seasoned divorce attorney with a waiting list and a reputation for efficiency. When I told him what I'd seen, he asked one question. Did you take screenshots? I hadn't. Too stunned. Get them, he said. Immediately. Don't confront her. Don't say a word. Start documenting everything and protect yourself. So that night, while she was out grocery shopping, same warm smile, same kiss on the cheek, I sat at the counter with the iPad and took screenshots of every last message. Group chat texts, photos. Uploaded them to a private cloud drive she didn't know existed. Password changed. Security questions reset. Then I got to work. Day 2 and 3, financial lockdown. I pulled the $8,000 out of our joint account, every last dollar we'd both contributed toward bills, and moved it to my personal account. Legally murky? Maybe. But my lawyer said it was better than letting her drain it first. I called the bank. Put a verbal password on every account. Locked down my retirement funds. Changed every password I could think of, emails, investment platforms, home security, even the garage code. I even changed the pin on the thermostat. That's where I was mentally, locking down the air itself. Day 4 and 5, asset audit. I photographed everything. Every item in the house, room by room. Jewelry, electronics, furniture, her car, my car. Timestamped them all. Pulled 3 years of financial statements, tax returns, credit card records. Found the receipt and gift letter for her student loan payoff, which, God bless my meticulous self, I'd had her sign for tax purposes. Everything was getting boxed, catalogued, documented. I didn't sleep. I didn't eat right. I just moved, like a man in a trench, digging faster than the bombs could fall. Days 6 and 7, legal strike. We filed. Me. Not her. Filed for divorce on grounds of irreconcilable differences. No fault, clean, surgical. But attached were the screenshots of Operation Freedom. Proof that she'd been conspiring to falsely accuse me and strip me of everything. We filed for exclusive use of the marital home. Requested the protection of separate property. Locked it all down. She got served Friday. At work. I made sure I wasn't home when it happened. I stayed at my brother's. But the texts started coming in within an hour. What did you do? You served me at work? I can't believe you're doing this. My mom is calling me screaming. What's happening? I didn't respond. She wasn't talking to her husband anymore. She was talking to a man who'd seen the ambush before it landed and walked out of the trap. Monday morning, her attorney called mine. They wanted to discuss a settlement. Turns out, Operation Freedom didn't go as planned. The settlement request was delusional. Her attorney laid it out in a tone that suggested he still believed we'd play along. She wanted the house. Half of my retirement account. $2,500 a month in alimony for 5 years. Half the value of my car. And for me to cover her legal fees. Total ask? About $180,000 and change, plus the monthly bleed. My attorney literally chuckled. He asked, "Is this a joke?" Her lawyer didn't laugh. My client feels entitled to the marital standard of living. My lawyer countered with something that should have ended the call. Your client conspired to fabricate abuse claims for strategic advantage. We have screenshots, timestamps, evidence. If you'd prefer a courtroom to a table, let's go. Suddenly, their tone changed. Here's the detail that dropped like a hammer. The house? Mine. I bought it 2 years before we got married. Title in my name. No cosign. No deed update. I honestly forgot that detail until my lawyer pulled the records. Which meant she wasn't just wrong, she had no claim to the property at all. Our counteroffer was elegant. She gets her car and personal belongings. We split the $8,000 joint account. No alimony. No attorney fees paid by me. She vacates the home within 30 days. Their reply. Completely unreasonable. Our reply. See you in court. They blinked. That weekend, I was mowing the lawn, therapy via noise, when her sister pulled up. I shut off the mower. We need to talk. No, we really don't. You're destroying her life. She planned to destroy mine. I just beat her to the punch. She started lobbing accusations. That I was controlling. That she felt trapped. I calmly asked. Name one controlling thing I did. She stammered. You tracked her phone. We both use Life 360. She can turn it off any time. You won't let her have her own bank account. She has her own account. Always has. You're ruining everything. She had a plan. Yes. She had a plan to lie about me and take everything I've worked for. And I stopped it. Cry about it. She left. Then came back an hour later. This time with her mother. Her mom pointed a finger at me like she was casting a spell. How dare you serve my daughter at work? She was going to file false abuse claims to steal my house. I'd say I went easy. She felt unsafe. Emotional abuse is real. Name one emotionally abusive thing I did. Same result. Silence. Then she said the quiet part loud. Paying off her student loans was manipulative. You were trapping her. I actually laughed. I paid $15,000 to eliminate her debt. To trap her? Sure. Let's go with that. They tried again. Legal threats. Emotional blackmail. None of it stuck. We're going to sue you for emotional distress. I'll countersue for conspiracy to commit fraud. Let's dance. They left. And I knew then, they weren't coming for justice. They were coming for control. And I had officially broken the script. Day 12. I got a text from her. No emojis. No theatrics. I booked us a marriage counselor. Tuesday at 6. We need to try. I forwarded it to my attorney. His response? Trap. Don't go. If you do go, record everything. Better yet, don't even reply. I took the advice. Replied with, We're getting divorced. There's nothing to counsel. Please communicate through attorneys only. She called immediately. Blocked. Then came the best friend. You're not even willing to try? What kind of husband are you? The kind who doesn't let his wife's family run a covert op to frame him. She wasn't plotting. She was preparing. Not legally, she wasn't. Click. Day 14. The house incident. I came home from work, and my key didn't work. Garage code? Changed. Door lock? Different. I stood there on the porch, bag still over my shoulder, in full disbelief. Then it hit me, she had changed the locks. On my house. Called my lawyer. He didn't hesitate. Call the cops. Right now. So I did. 2 officers arrived. I explained the situation. House purchase pre-marriage. Title in my name only. Court order already in place granting me exclusive use of the home. Then she pulled up. Her and her mom. Cue the drama. Officer asked her. Ma'am, are you on the deed? It's the marital home. That's not what I asked. Are you on the deed? Well, no. Then you can't change the locks. Her mom jumped in. He's locking her out. She has rights. Not to someone else's property, she doesn't. She's been served. She's trespassing. My wife started crying on cue. Where am I supposed to go? Officer didn't blink. That's not our concern. You need to leave. And just like that, they left. I called a locksmith. Again. $350. Changed every lock. Again. Added the bill to the divorce expenses. That same evening, my attorney called. Her side wants to settle. I asked, What are they offering? She gets her car. Her personal belongings. $4,000 from the joint account. Each pays their own legal fees. No claims on the house or retirement. No alimony. A clean break. I said one word. Done. Then, when can we sign? He started drafting the agreement that night. My wife had finally realized this wasn't a divorce. It was an escape. She just wasn't the one escaping. 3 more weeks passed before the ink dried on the settlement. But don't let the paperwork fool you. Those weeks were chaos in a cocktail dress. Week 1, the negotiation circus. She wanted to renegotiate the clean break. Wanted $5,000 instead of $4,000 from the joint account. My attorney. Nope. 50-50 split, $4,000 each or we go to court. She wanted me to pay for her moving expenses. Absolutely not. She wanted to take furniture. Personal belongings only. Furniture stays with the house. She wanted 2 months to move out. 30 days. Non-negotiable. My attorney shut every request down like a bouncer at a private club. Not because he was ruthless, because we had leverage. I filed first. I owned the house. I had screenshots of premeditated false allegations. And she had nothing but a crumbling script and a bad cast. Eventually, her own attorney told her to take the deal and run. She did. Week 2, the move out. I wasn't there. I stayed at my brother's place. But I had security cameras rolling. Inside and out. She arrived with her mom, sister, and best friend. A little moving crew in yoga pants and flip-flops. They packed her stuff. Clothes, books, shoes, makeup. The usual. But then, they got greedy. I watched on the footage as they took my coffee maker, my television, 3 lamps, the microwave, our wedding china, artwork from the living room, a floor fan that literally had my name sharpened on the bottom. I called my attorney. She's taking non-personal property. Do you have video? Yes. Perfect. Send it. The next day, her attorney called. Everything will be returned. And to their credit, it was. Everything except the coffee maker. Apparently she threw it away. I said fine. I'll buy another. She got a $15,000 student loan payoff. I'll survive the $80 loss. Week 3, the settlement signing. It was a video call. My attorney in his office. Me in mine. She sat next to her lawyer, quiet, small. The agreement was read out line by line. Her car. Her personal belongings. $4,000 from the joint account. No alimony. No future claims. Each pays their own fees. They asked if we both agreed. Me. Yes. She hesitated. Then. Yes. Her attorney sent the signatures. Done. But just before we hung up, she lingered on the call. Face tight. Voice low. I hope you're happy. I'm not happy. I'm protected. There's a difference. I wasn't trying to destroy you. I just wanted to make sure I was okay. By faking abuse? By planning to take everything I worked for? My family was just trying to help. Your family was trying to help you commit fraud. There's a difference. Her attorney cut in. I think we're done here. Click. Call ended. War over. Almost. After the settlement, everything went quiet, but it was the kind of quiet that feels like a storm pretending to be a breeze. My brother asked me, "Do you feel bad?" And honestly? No. I felt relieved. Validated. Like I dodged a freight train by inches and walked away with nothing but a scratch. Because let's be real, if I hadn't found that group chat, I'd be staring down. A fraudulent abuse claim. A court battle for a house I paid for. Alimony. Legal fees. And the kind of emotional devastation that turns good men bitter. Instead, I walked away with my house, my retirement untouched, and my future intact. Here's the cost breakdown. Attorney fees, $8,500. Locksmith, twice $650. Lost half of the joint account, $4,000. Miscellaneous expenses, maybe $500. Total hit, $13,650. Could have been $180,000 plus alimony. I'll take the $13,000 loss and a clean conscience. The house? Feels different now. Still mine, but quieter. No footsteps I don't trust. No fake affection. Just silence and walls that don't lie. I went to work like normal. Told my boss I was going through a divorce. He was cool about it. Take time if you need it. I haven't needed it. My brother's been amazing. Dinner twice this week. Watched a game, grilled burgers. No therapy talk. Just space to breathe. My friends? Most of them said the same thing when I told them. Dude, we always knew something was off with her family. But none of them knew about the group chat. About the script they were writing. About the roles they cast for her to play. Controlling husband. Isolated wife. Financial abuse victim. All of it, pure fiction. But in some alternate timeline, where I didn't glance at her iPad that day, that script would have been my reality. Her family? Radio silence since the settlement. No calls. No texts. No Facebook rants. Nothing. Good. Her? Blocked everywhere. There's nothing left to say. She wasn't the woman I married. Or maybe she was. And I just didn't see it. But now I do. And I'm finally, completely free. I didn't think it would feel like this, freedom, I mean. It wasn't some big euphoric moment with champagne and a solo dance party in the kitchen. It was smaller. Stranger. Like walking into a room you've been in 1,000 times and realizing it finally feels like yours. I opened the junk drawer. No mysterious lip balms. No old mail with someone else's name on it. Just batteries, scissors, and a warranty for my lawnmower. Mine. I cooked dinner one night and didn't have to ask. Do you want this or that? I ate standing at the counter. No small talk. No Cold War in the shape of passive-aggressive silence. Just chicken and peace. The air in the house had changed. It was the kind of quiet that isn't empty, it's honest. But the fallout? Oh, it came. Just not the way I expected. A week after the signing, her sister posted a vague story on Instagram, a quote about narcissistic exes who manipulate and discard women like objects. No name. But the comments? You're so strong, sis. He doesn't deserve your light. Karma comes for everyone. Then her best friend updated her profile picture to a selfie with my ex and a caption that read, "We ride at dawn." Sure. Ride your narrative into a brick wall. I won't stop you. My lawyer had warned me. They won't let go of the victim story. People like this never do. But don't engage. They need your attention more than they need the truth. So I didn't. Then came the group text from her mom. Yes. Her mom. I know you think you did the right thing, but you've destroyed this family. She's devastated. You should be ashamed of yourself. I didn't respond. But I did take a screenshot and file it in a folder labeled, just in case. Then her cousin emailed me. Her cousin. Someone I haven't seen since our wedding. Hey man, just reaching out to say no hard feelings. Hope you're okay. If you ever want to talk, I'm here. Translation. I'm here to extract intel so we can flip the narrative again. Deleted. Blocked. But then came the weirdest moment of all. I got a letter. A literal, handwritten letter. From her. It was 4 pages long. Flowery cursive on thick paper. The kind people use for wedding thank you notes, or apology letters to judges. It said things like, I never meant to hurt you. I was overwhelmed and manipulated. My mom pushed me. My sister fed me lies. I didn't know how to stop it. Part of me hoped you'd find out. So you could stop me. That line made me stop reading. No. That wasn't some subconscious cry for help. That was a conscious plan. With phases. With scripts. With false accusations queued up in a group chat. I shredded the letter. Didn't keep a copy. Didn't need one. Because forgiveness doesn't always require understanding. Sometimes it just requires distance. And I was finally miles ahead of everything she tried to bury me under. The final divorce decree came in the mail like a silent ceremony. No trumpets. No justice gavel slamming dramatically. Just an envelope. A few pages. My name, her name, and the legal words that made it official. Dissolution granted. It was done. I stared at the paper longer than I meant to. Not because I doubted the decision. I didn't. Not for a second. But because 6 years of my life had just been compressed into a paragraph. And a future I never imagined became mine again. The house? Mine. Quiet. Still. I replaced the wedding photos in the hallway with framed art I actually like. Got rid of the joint monogram towels. Burned the candle she never let me light because it was too strong. I lit it. Let it burn all the way down while I stood in the doorway and watched the house reclaim itself. I updated my will. Set new beneficiaries. Closed the shared streaming accounts. Every login, every password, every lingering connection, cut. One by one, I ended every thread she might tug on to try to spin a new web. But here's the twist I didn't expect. I'm not angry. I'm not playing the bitter ex. Not driving around blasting breakup playlists. Not stalking her socials or praying for karma to drop a piano on her. I'm just tired. In a good way. Like I just finished a marathon I never signed up for. And survived. The week the decree arrived, I bought a bottle of whiskey I'd been saving for a someday celebration. I poured a glass. Sat on the porch. Listened to the neighborhood dogs bark like idiots. Let the wind blow through the trees. That moment? That was my real ceremony. That was Operation Freedom. For me. And the irony? She got exactly what she wanted. Freedom. But so did I. Just not in the version she thought. Freedom came with its own kind of paperwork. I started making lists, not legal ones, just life ones. Stuff I'd been putting off. Stuff I'd been too distracted to notice. Paint the garage. Replace that squeaky hinge on the laundry door. Take a damn vacation. It's weird how much space opens up when you stop living next to a walking landmine. I realized how often I used to tiptoe around moods that weren't mine. Apologize for things I didn't do. Check bank accounts not because I needed to, but because I was bracing for a surprise. Now, I cook in peace. I sleep deeper. My clothes are all where I left them. My calendar is mine again. So is my future. I see my brother more. His kids keep asking when they can come over again to play Xbox and drink juice boxes like little sugar goblins. They don't know what happened. They just know I'm smiling more. That's enough. Work's been solid. My boss told me I seem lighter. I laughed and told him I dropped 130 pounds of toxic entitlement. He didn't ask follow-up questions. Smart man. One night I found the letter again. Not hers. Mine. The one I'd started the night I found the iPad. The night I realized my marriage was just a stage and I wasn't even in the script. It wasn't long. Just a few sentences in a notes app. She doesn't love me. Not the real me. Just the version she can use. If I don't act now, I lose everything. This isn't betrayal. It's clarity. It hit harder reading it now. Not with panic. With confirmation. Like a past self leaving breadcrumbs for the future. And then something unexpected happened. I got a letter in the mail. Another one. This one was from her aunt, the same aunt who chimed in on the group chat about false allegations and pushing for the right judge. It was a single sheet of paper. I don't expect forgiveness. I just want you to know not all of us agreed. I went along with it because I thought it would protect her. But now, I see how wrong that was. I'm sorry. I didn't reply. But I didn't shred it either. Because it's possible to recognize remorse without reopening the door. And that's what this whole thing has taught me. Closure isn't a conversation. It's a choice. And I'd finally made mine. A few weeks after the dust settled, I ran into someone unexpected, her cousin Nick, of all people, at a coffee shop near my office. He spotted me, did a double take, then came over like we were old friends. Kai! Man, crazy stuff, huh? He said it like we just wrapped a bad pickup game, not like I'd survived a coordinated character assassination by his extended family. Yeah. Wild times, I said, non-committal, already regretting not pretending to take a phone call. Nick leaned in like he was about to deliver confidential stock tips. Look, between us, she's been a wreck. Moved in with her mom again. Her sister won't even let her stay more than a night. They're all kinda turning on each other now. I raised an eyebrow. You don't say. She says you ambushed her. But bro. I read the texts. Her mom forwarded them around to get sympathy. Kinda backfired. People saw the receipts. Then he hit me with it. You ever think about taking her back? I just stared at him. Not with anger. Not with sarcasm. Just disbelief. Nick, I didn't escape a house fire to go back inside because someone lit a candle. He held up his hands. Fair enough. Just had to ask. She's been telling everyone you're cold. I'm not cold. I said. I'm just finally warm somewhere else. We didn't shake hands. I paid for my coffee and walked out. Later that night, my brother sent me a screenshot. My ex had posted on Facebook. A quote image. The hardest part is realizing they never loved you. And her caption? Healing isn't linear. Some people just don't have the capacity to care. No names. Just vibes. But the comments section? Predictably messy. You're so strong. Men never appreciate real love. It's his loss, queen. And it was almost funny. Because they didn't know. They didn't see the screenshots, the strategies, the unsafe plan. They were just reading a version of events designed for sympathy points and likes. And I let it go. Because that's what healing actually looks like. Not curated quotes. Not attention-seeking status updates. It's being unbothered. And I was finally, deeply, unapologetically unbothered. 3 months after the divorce, I got a letter from the county clerk. I opened it expecting junk mail or a property tax notice, but instead, it was a court filing, not from her, but from her mother. She was threatening to sue me for emotional damages. On her daughter's behalf. I laughed so hard I dropped the envelope into my cereal. The claim? That I'd publicly humiliated and traumatized her daughter by filing first, serving her at work, and evicting her from the marital home with undue cruelty. My attorney responded with one of the most satisfying legal letters I've ever read. He attached the screenshots of Operation Freedom, the court documents establishing me as sole legal owner of the house, and a polite but firm warning that if they pursued the claim, we would file a countersuit for conspiracy and attempted fraud. It ended with, should your client choose to escalate this matter, we are prepared to proceed to discovery and depositions, under oath. 2 days later, the filing was voluntarily withdrawn. No apology. Just silence. Which was fine. Because by then, I wasn't expecting apologies. I was expecting patterns, and those, they delivered like clockwork. Meanwhile, I was finally living. Not healing. Not recovering. Just living. I hosted friends for a poker night. I joined a running group. I went on a date, casual, low stakes, no trauma dumping. Just sushi, dumb jokes, and a woman who didn't flinch when I said I'd been married before. And for the first time in a long time, I didn't feel like someone trying to rebuild. I felt like someone who had rebuilt. She, on the other hand? I heard, from someone who still keeps tabs, that she tried to move out of her mom's place and apply for a teaching job in a nearby district. Didn't pass the background screening. Why? Because her name was flagged in an unresolved HOA violation complaint and potential civil action file, The one I submitted when she listed the house as a short-term rental illegally, before the divorce was even filed. She didn't know the system keeps those on file for 7 years. Consequences. They don't always show up loud. Sometimes they sneak in with paperwork and timing. And me? I slept great that night. Because even karma wears a badge and a clipboard sometimes. You'd think after the court nonsense, and her short-lived civil suit stunt, things would die down. But no. Because people like her, and her family, don't just fade into the background. They escalate sideways. This time, it came through my job. On a random Tuesday, my HR manager forwarded me a complaint that had been submitted anonymously through our company's ethics portal. Allegation? History of emotional abuse and controlling behavior toward women. Pattern of misconduct. No names attached. No specifics. But the timing? Exactly 1 week after her cousin followed me on LinkedIn. Exactly 3 days after her sister posted a story with a vague caption. Abusers don't stop when the court says so. They just get quieter. I met with HR, calm, professional. Brought the full package. Divorce decree. Evidence of the false allegations. Screenshots of the Operation Freedom group chat. The court filings. And even the withdrawn emotional distress claim from her mother. My boss looked me dead in the eye and said, Kai, this isn't going to be a problem. We know who you are. But thank you for bringing the receipts. Then he added, also, damn. They launched a brief internal review, just to tick the boxes. Closed it within 48 hours. The report? No basis. No violation. No action. I wasn't even mad. I was impressed. It takes a particular brand of delusion and desperation to try and assassinate someone's character with the same lies a judge already rejected. She thought I'd be afraid. She didn't realize, I'm past fear. I'm in the phase of my life where I document everything, assume nothing, and expect people to either grow or disappear. And as for her? She keeps trying to play chess. But I already flipped the board, boxed it up, and left the tournament. I've moved on. She's still playing imaginary games with invisible pieces. Alright. Let's talk about the aftermath no one posts about. Not the dramatic stuff. Not the courtrooms or the betrayals or the revenge. Just the quiet. The stuff that creeps in once the adrenaline is gone and the war is over. Like walking past the spot where we used to keep the keys. And realizing they're all mine now. Like catching myself making 2 cups of coffee out of habit. Then laughing. Then pouring the second cup into a thermos, because screw it, future me will appreciate it. Like sitting on the couch on a Saturday night, watching a movie, and halfway through realizing. No one is mad. No one is sulking. No one is making me feel guilty for relaxing. That's the part no one tells you about, how freedom can feel unfamiliar at first. Like maybe you've lived with an invisible weight so long, you forgot what breathing normally felt like. But here's the best part. I started sleeping again. Like actually sleeping. No middle of the night heart races. No dreams where I'm running from someone. Just sleep. That used to feel impossible. But when you're no longer bracing for accusations, or tracking the temperature of someone else's moods, or checking every room in your own damn house for tension, you sleep. And the boundaries? Still up. Still solid. Her family tried to sneak through the cracks. A random follow request here. A message from a cousin saying, "We miss you." I didn't bite. Didn't rage. Just blocked. Moved on. And one night my brother handed me a beer and said, "You know, I hated her for a long time. But I didn't say anything because I thought you were happy." I nodded. Same. Then we clinked bottles. And sat in silence. And it was the most honest conversation I'd had in years. So here's the truth no one glamorizes. Healing isn't sexy. It's doing your laundry without crying. It's walking past your ex's name in your inbox trash folder and not clicking. It's setting an alarm on a Sunday morning, not because you have to, but because you finally want to go hiking again. Freedom doesn't always feel like fireworks. Sometimes it feels like finally having space in your fridge. Let's rewind for a second. Because there's something I've left out. Something I didn't want to admit until now. There was a moment, just one, where I almost called her. It was 2 months post-divorce. I just finished a long day at work. I was driving home. Rain on the windshield. That one song came on, you know the one. The kind that stirs old ghosts even if you exorcise them legally and with notaries present. And for a half-second I wondered, was it really that bad? That's what trauma does. It rewrites itself with prettier handwriting. Turns betrayal into miscommunication. Turns group chat conspiracies into just family being dramatic. But here's what saved me. I'd printed out the screenshots. Not out of pettiness. Out of protection. I keep them in a folder labeled Truth, right in my filing cabinet, under House Documents, and above Tax Returns. That night, I came home, tossed my keys on the counter, opened the folder, and read the first message again. Phase 1, document everything. We need proof of what she's entitled to. And suddenly, the fog cleared. The nostalgia shut up. And I remembered, I didn't lose her. I survived her. There's a difference. I didn't dodge a good thing. I dodged a missile. And the only reason I walked away intact was because I trusted my gut when it whispered, something's off. Now, I keep that folder. Not because I need the receipts. But because every now and then, we forget the weight of what we carried. And it helps to lift it again, to feel how far we've come. She's still out there somewhere. Maybe spinning new stories. Maybe trying to find her next. Phase 1. But me? I've got a new plan. No phases. No secrets. Just peace. And an unlisted number. So here's something I never thought I'd say after everything. I'm dating again. Yeah. Me. The guy who used to scan every conversation for hidden traps. The guy who once got served a side of betrayal with his breakfast eggs. But life keeps going. And I figured, why not try? It started with a coworker's friend. Not a setup, just coincidence. We ended up sitting next to each other at a trivia night, both of us useless at history but alarmingly good at naming obscure serials from the 90s. Her name's Lena. She's not loud. Not flashy. She laughs with her whole face, and when she listens, she actually listens. No agenda. No side plots. Just presence. On our second date, we were walking through a street market when I saw a handmade mug that said, I'm not bitter. I just remember everything. I bought it. She raised an eyebrow, smirking. Something you want to unpack there? I said. Let's just say I've been legally advised to keep records. She laughed. Not nervously. Not like she was wondering if I was broken. Just honestly. Like she'd heard worse and liked me anyway. We're taking it slow. Because I'm not building anything that doesn't have a foundation this time. Meanwhile, I've kept the house. But I've changed it. New paint in the bedroom. New couch in the living room. New locks, of course, but also new energy. It's not a battleground anymore. It's a launch pad. And I realized something wild the other day. I'm grateful. Not for what she did. Not for the pain. But for the fact that it finally forced me to stop shrinking to fit someone else's comfort. I used to think being a good man meant sacrificing myself quietly. Now I know better. A good man protects his peace. A good man doesn't wait to be ambushed. He locks the door, saves the receipts, and chooses himself before someone else weaponizes his decency. So if you're reading this wondering if it gets better, it does. Not instantly. Not cleanly. But fully. And freedom? It doesn't always look like a passport, or a plane ticket, or a deleted ex. Sometimes it looks like a quiet house. A strong boundary. And a second cup of coffee you don't have to share. Alright. So let's talk closure, the real kind. Not the Instagram post with the sad quote. Not the, let's get coffee and find peace. Closure. Not even the therapist-approved version where you write a letter and burn it. I'm talking about the quiet, boring, almost stupid kind. Like finally throwing away the wedding album. It sat in the back of my closet like a landmine for months. Not because I wanted it. But because some part of me felt like tossing it was admitting failure. But then I remembered something my brother said during our last beer and rant session. You didn't fail, Kai. She cheated on the test and still flunked. So one rainy Saturday, I pulled it out. Page by page. Each photo more absurd than the last. Smiling faces. Toasts. Vows she never meant. A candid of her mom dabbing tears like she wasn't already drafting. Phase 1. By the last page, I wasn't angry. I was embarrassed. Not because I loved her, because I ignored so many signs. I confused silence for stability, condescension for concern, and manipulation for love. I tossed the album in a black trash bag. Walked it out to the bin. It didn't feel triumphant. It felt like taking off shoes that didn't fit for way too long. And after that, I started making a new album. Not about her. About me. I'm documenting my life now. Not for social media. Not for proof. Just because it matters. Photos of my brother's kid asleep on my chest after a backyard barbecue. Lena pretending she doesn't hate my music playlists. The view from my favorite trail. The new espresso machine I bought to replace the one she threw away. Yes, that coffee maker. And on the last page? A selfie. Me on the porch. Hoodie on. Rain in the background. A quiet smile. Caption. Peace isn't loud. But it stays. Here's what no one tells you about rebuilding. It's not dramatic. It's repetitive. You don't climb out of the wreckage and instantly run a marathon. You take out the trash. You fix the broken drawer. You answer emails on time. You wash your damn sheets. That's how healing starts. So what did I do this month? I planted a garden. Yeah. Me. The guy who used to schedule his life down to the minute now waters tomatoes before breakfast. It started as a joke. My brother's wife handed me a seed packet and said, "Grow something that doesn't try to sue you." Fair. I didn't know what I was doing. Still don't. But watching something grow because I cared for it, not in spite of me, not as a trap, not while someone plotted in the background, was weirdly emotional. Lena helped. She brought over gloves and a sun hat that made her look like someone's wholesome cousin from a Hallmark movie. "What made you pick tomatoes?" she asked. "They looked easy." She smiled. "They're not. But they're worth it." I didn't ask if she was still talking about vegetables. And here's the wildest part, she never asks about my ex. Not once. Not in the "I'm insecure" way. Not in the "I need to know who hurt you" way. She just lets me bring things up when I want to. And most days I don't want to. Because that story? It's not the story anymore. It's just a chapter. One I lived. One I survived. But one that no longer owns the ending. The house feels different now. Not just quieter. Lighter. Like it's mine not just legally, but spiritually. Like I don't have to watch my back in my own kitchen. Like no one is counting my breaths waiting to twist them into leverage. I'm still cautious. Still guarded in some ways. But I'm also hopeful. And I haven't felt that word in years without flinching. Hope used to feel dangerous. Now it feels like fresh dirt and sun-warmed porch steps. Last week, I got a text from a number I didn't recognize. Just one line. "Do you ever miss me?" No name. No punctuation. Like it was casually dropped from a moving car. I stared at it for 5 full minutes. Then blocked the number. Didn't respond. Didn't screenshot. Didn't care. Because here's the truth. Missing someone isn't the same as wanting them back. And grief isn't always about loss, it's about what you gave to someone who never deserved it. I don't miss her. I miss who I thought she was. I miss who I got to be before I knew better. But I like who I am now more. There's no drama left in me. No speeches. No revenge arcs. Just a man with his peace, a garden, a second coffee mug if someone worth it shows up. Closure isn't the door slamming. It's realizing you stopped checking to see if it ever opens again. Ran into her sister at the hardware store. She froze like I caught her robbing a bank. Then put on that fake polite smile they all wear like armor. "Kai. Wow. You look good." "Thanks. Peace suits me." She blinked. Didn't like that answer. Tried to pivot. "You know, she's not doing well." I raised an eyebrow. "And?" "She talks about you. A lot." I nodded once. Tell her I said nothing. Because I don't owe anyone a rerun. I paid for my paintbrushes and walked out. In the parking lot, I realized something wild. I wasn't even angry anymore. Not bitter. Not smug. Just uninterested. That's real healing. Not when the pain stops hurting, but when it stops mattering. Tonight I stood on my porch, drink in hand, wind brushing past like it knew the whole story. The house behind me? Quiet. Safe. Mine. Not just by deed, but by energy. No secrets. No strategy. Just walls that protect and windows that breathe. I looked out over the yard. My tomatoes are finally coming in. Not perfect, but stubborn. Resilient. Like me. I thought about everything, the betrayal, the planning, The fake abuse angle, the sister's rage, her mom's meltdown, the locks changed on my house, the lawsuit that evaporated in daylight, the text from her I never answered. And I smiled. Not out of pettiness. Out of peace. Because what they tried to take, I rebuilt. What they planned in secret, I survived in silence. And what they never expected, I got better. Not just healed. Wiser. Louder. Stronger. Harder to trick. Impossible to scare. If she ever walks past this house again, I hope she sees the light inside. Not because I want her back, but because I want her to understand what she gave up trying to win the war with lies. She never destroyed me. She revealed me. I was never the villain. Just the target that shot back. So here I am, 35, standing on a porch built with boundaries, drinking to a life I reclaimed one lock, one document, one decision at a time. Operation Freedom? Yeah, it worked. Just not for her.